The media and a lot of people who, well, say electric cars are too expensive have recently been rebuking Elon Musk publicly for Tesla's unaffordable cars. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in and thank you so much for your support this year. It's been amazing. Thank you so much for supporting us on Patreon as well. Really appreciate every single one of our supporters, whether that's Patreon, YouTube members, or for my wife's GoFundMe campaign for her stage 4 incurable cancer, which we're hoping isn't actually incurable. In an interview with CNBC just a few days ago, Elon Musk laid out his argument against the idea that Tesla has an affordability problem. And the reason being that CNBC were trying to say, people are not buying your cars because they're too expensive. The crazy thing is that within, 48 hours of that interview becoming public, the price of the Tesla Model 3, the standard range, was $39,000. Now, it also qualifies for a $3,750 tax exemption. Plus, there's obviously other discounts and things you can get in different states around the United States. Meaning, in some places you could get it for, say, less than $35,000. But regardless, all over America, the price, once you apply that $3,750 discount, is around $35,000, meaning actually it's cheaper than $35,000 based on what Tesla or Elon Musk said it would be in 2018. Because you have to include the value of inflation. Inflation's driven prices up like crazy over the past year. So really, the real world price is closer to $30,000. Is that a problem? Is that an affordability problem? Well, maybe for some people, but that's an incredibly low price. One of the things Tesla's been able to use to drive down prices is manufacturing efficiency. And of course, the more cars you make, the cheaper you can make them. But there's other things like using lithium iron phosphate battery cells, having structural battery packs. There's heaps and heaps of things that Tesla have done over the past 3 or 4 years to continue to drive down the cost of its cars and still make a profit. However, Tesla are still criticized constantly for having unaffordable cars. Now, if you're saying, the Model 3 is not the only car they sell, that's true. Obviously, they have the Model X, the Model S, they're expensive. Tesla don't sell very many of those. They're not really prioritized in the company, clearly. They make their mainstream models, the Y and the 3, at all their major factories in the world, which they ship globally. So the Model Y, is that affordable? Well, compared to its competition, actually it is. For example, in the United States, you can get a Model Y for around $46,000. If you apply the incentives to that and it qualifies for the full $7,500 tax incentive, you're getting one for about $39,000. If you compare that to its internal combustion engine competitors, it's actually cheaper. Spec for spec, size for size in terms of interior space, everything you get with that car, it is cheaper. It's all-wheel drive. It's actually got some really good standard specifications. However, it doesn't seem to matter to the mainstream media in the US. It doesn't seem to matter to the many skeptics of Tesla. They just continue to attack. I don't know if this is reasonable. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Are these kinds of criticisms still reasonable? However, Elon Musk is clearly getting a bit triggered by all this, and I understand that. The guy gets criticized, to be fair, on a 24-hour basis. I don't know how I'd go with my mental health. I get criticized quite a lot with YouTube. It's just a platform. You have to, if you're going to be on YouTube, you just have to accept it. And I've been criticized thousands of times. I've seen a lot of that stuff, and it can get to you. You've got to have a thick skin, but I'm not criticized anywhere near to the level of someone like Elon Musk. I really don't know how he mentally handles it. I think it'd be insane. And keep in mind, he's not the only one. There's public sports players, there's public personalities who get this kind of pressure. I don't know how they deal with it, but you can see why sometimes Elon just flies off. I think sometimes it just gets to become too much. Now, Elon Musk argued against the idea of the Tesla affordability problem in a segment of his interview with David Faber on CNBC. The discussion was held immediately after the shareholder meeting, and CNBC posted the segment to Twitter because they knew it would get lots of clicks. So clearly the interviewer was trying to get Elon to, react. And here's what Elon Musk said.
A lot of people still think Teslas are super expensive because we did start out with an expensive sports car, then like a slightly less expensive sedan and SUV. But now we're at the point where the starting price of a Tesla is actually below the average selling price of a car in the United States.
A lot of people still think Teslas are super expensive, but now we're at the point where the starting point of a Tesla is actually below the average selling price of a car in the United States. He's right. It's below the average selling price, clearly. And the other thing worth considering here is people saying the battery packs don't last long enough, but you've seen after many years, battery degradation in Model 3s and Model Ys is actually very, very low. The battery pack should last easily for 1 million kilometers now based on today's technology, or at least from the last few years, cars' technology. So that's another point. Can the cars last longer than their internal combustion engine competition? Or the average lifespan for an internal combustion engine vehicle is around 200,000 miles. In fact, it's a bit less than that. It's about 180,000 miles. EVs can clearly last a lot longer than that, meaning that price point is actually even lower than it initially sounds. Maybe this is one of the reasons why Tesla is saying, you know what? Let's advertise. Let's just advertise, because people don't realize that actually Tesla's cars are affordable. The media is brainwashing them into thinking they're too expensive with these clickbait kind of titles. They're not. People just don't know. Is this true in your experience? Do you think that a lot of people just don't know that Tesla vehicles are actually relatively affordable? So Musk focused on the points, which are that the Model 3 and the Model Y in their segments, the base models, are cheaper than the average sales price of internal combustion engine vehicles in those segments. He also pointed out that the entry-level Model 3 is cheaper to own than a similarly priced Toyota Camry. And you can see why the Tesla Model 3 still outsells the Toyota Camry in California. I think if they had the new model out, it would be just dominating it. But anyhow, Model 3 sales have gone down this year. But that said, Tesla does still have a much higher brand loyalty than Toyota. So I think we're probably going to see sales spike once the new model actually does arrive. One great thing that's going to happen though is soon we'll have much more affordable EVs, not just from other companies in China, etc., but also from Tesla. I think it's not going to take very long to start making Model 2s in Mexico. They've already started work on the factory, which is insane. I believe in Mexico, the permitting, all that kind of stuff, is probably one of the key reasons why General Motors, Ford, other car companies make cars in Mexico. You can get things over the line quicker. You can get things to happen faster. You don't have to focus on all the German bureaucracy or all the Californian bureaucracy, and there's a lot of it. So things should happen really, really quickly. Plus, they'll just be using CATL and BYD's lithium iron phosphate battery cells until they can start manufacturing those in either Mexico or the United States, which will happen at some point over the next few years. One thing that I think we need to focus on, though, is being economically responsible. Right now, that's my advice to everyone. Batten down the hatches a little bit. Now, will there be a global depression? I don't know. I think maybe a recession is more likely. But Elon Musk did raise this point a few times. He believes that some automakers, some companies will go bankrupt within the next 12 months. It could happen. Yes, there's something going on right now. I believe people smarter than you and I can see what's happening and work this out. So now is probably the time to actually save your dollars. Be smart with your money. At least that's what I think. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.